Oh man, welcome everybody to the Nintendo Rewind. I'm Cody Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host Josh Taylor and Chris Becker. We're rewinding and recapping last week for Nintendo, but before we dive in, Josh, tell the people how you doing. How are you? How are you? How are you?
I don't know how I is. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm doing okay. I'm in that post-vacation, totally not depression. Just like, cruising along here, thinking about what comes next. Already planning out something in the future. But,
Dude, I feel that.
no, it's been okay. I don't know. It's just going. I'm still, I don't know if I can say that on here.
You can say anything you want. You go for it. You tell
things
us.
related to job things. So, that's hopefully a positive. Coming soon, so
That'd be good, dude.
No.
That'd be
Part-time
awesome.
one's going well, at least. So yeah, there's that. Been playing a few games. Got been trying to get through the Pokemon Legends Arceus still, since I got it before the trip to sort of play it, for something to do on the way there and all this. And I'm still kind of playing through it very slowly. It's hard for me to just I feel like I have to have 30 minutes at a time at least to be able to really focus on it, or I'm just I have no idea what I'm doing and then turn it back off. And I'm really bad about paying attention to the story in that game. Usually in games, I'm pretty good about slowing down and I'll read the whatever. And some of this, I'm I don't remember what they're even talking about. And there's a lot of text for a Pokemon game. But there's parts of it I do really like.
Some of that game is just chatting with everybody and trying to find your next target thing to do too.
Yeah. There's some parts of it I want to like more than the mainline stuff, but then some of it's I kind of just would prefer to go back and play Scarlet some more. But I don't know. I can't really decide. It's different. But yeah, I've been playing that. I have been playing a decent bit of a free-to-play game, which is very much not like me. But it's that Disney Speedstorm, which also
about going back to Disney at this point. That's all it is.
I gave it another chance, right as we were leaving, and I've been playing it a lot since. And then they started a new season today for Pirates of the Caribbean, which I think is awesome. So I play the heck out of it as much as I can. I'm still looking for somebody to play it with. I know that's asking a lot because I knew nobody really, nobody I know plays it at least right now.
Well, I kind of lamb-based it at launch, and part of it was just the lack of variety that was there and how buggy it was at launch. And I'm sure it's a living, breathing game. They're working on it. That's fine. It's just not.
I had no problems with bugs.
It's Mario Kart, but with Disney characters.
Plenty of tracks and things like that. It actually feels a little bit almost like Crash Team Racing.
CTR.
It feels a little closer to that, which I really like. The gameplay itself is really good. So yeah, been doing that. There was another game, and now I just completely blanked on it. I don't know, it wasn't that important, but yeah, that's just kind of cruising along here. Not much else to add to it. Playing Lorcana still, by the way. So
I saw you went and competed in a card tournament this past weekend, right?
The first time I've ever been to a trading card game event, I guess as they call it. It was a new release for, is it a chapter or a season or something like that? It was basically a new release of a set that they brought out. So I went, and you paid so much to get 6 packs, and you had to make your deck out of those packs, and you all competed, which I knew I probably wouldn't win, which I didn't, but I did all right. I was all right with how I did, considering I was a new guy. Walked away with some neat stuff, so it was worth it. I would do it again. It seemed like some pretty nice people there, so.
That's freaking awesome. I'm glad you had a good time, man. I stay away from the card games nowadays because if I jump in, I'm dead. My entire finances are gone. There's no house. There's no anything.
This isn't full. This is
oh
not
my God.
full yet.
Are you sure?
This is my box. We started this on my Disney trip.
It's your deck box. This is one deck.
On the camera because of the way it is. It's not near full, but it's it's starting to build that quickly, so that's probably not good.
No, I understand that. You gotta get those as Nettis is saying in the live chat over there with the guns out. You gotta get the guns out to be able to pick up that giant heavy box of cards at this point. Just showing. Don't worry, I'm wearing enough sleeves for the both of us. So in this 85 degree weather, but no man, dude, that sounds freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
Time to get laid back. Chris, what kind of snacks you have on the shelf this past week? What'd you eat? What'd you get into?
I ate a couple of chocolate covered pretzels. I got some chip witches.
Chip witches? Is that
I
like a
dove
Ritz
into
cracker
some,
or like what is that? What's a chip witch?
No, please.
Is it a magical
witch.
chip?
No, it is it's like a cookie. 2 cookies with ice cream in the middle.
Ooh.
It's like a sandwich made out of
I
chocolate
understand.
chip cookie.
It's basically a cookie ice cream sandwich, right? Is that what you're saying? Like it's like those gas station ice cream sandwiches that I grab whenever it's just like
it's
impulse
like those,
buy.
yeah, but from Trader Joe's.
Ooh, fancy.
It was right. I got that, and then I got a little fruit leather, but no. And then just about that. And then I played some games.
Mm-hmm.
I played Cult of the Lamb. Released that free patch for the co-op.
Mm-hmm.
So I started playing it again, and I forgot. I haven't played it since I beat it when it first came out, and then they've released all these updates, including like sins, like letting you get sins in the game. So I went ahead, unlocked that, and then I unlocked. They have the co-op, which is local only, but you also get the goat. So I just changed the goat. So I wanted to unlock the goat for single player, and I did. And now I'll probably never touch the game again for a while.
I understand.
But I also played Arco, which is out this week on the Nintendo Switch, and it's kind of like real simplistic looking pixel art, but it's kind of like a Western, where it's also like a turn-based action RPG game, sort of. I don't know. It's a lot, but yeah, it's good.
I'm interested. I do like a good turn-based game. Like I've been digging into Sea of Stars again, just because I've been replaying it live for chat. So I'm really enjoying it.
That was the game I meant to mention earlier.
You forgot Sea of Stars? What the frick, Josh? Get out of here!
I play too much at once.
Just go away.
Sorry, I play too much at once, and I end up letting it set for a week and forgetting what I'm doing before I go back to it. I'm not good with these RPG games. They take forever to get through.
I genuinely feel that because I was sick last week, as you guys know. Like I came on here and I was like, I feel like I'm dying. And so I streamed twice last week. Once on here, not even on my own channel hardly at all. Once on here, and then once on my own channel doing Secret of Mana, which is like my first time ever like playing through Secret of Mana, and I'm doing it with 3 people, so we're like simulating the multi-tap and everything. It was really, really cool. But like I ended up only streaming that. The last time I'd played Sea of Stars was I think it was the Sunday, the week before that. And so I booted up yesterday to play live for people, and I'm like, I don't even know what is going on. And so like, as I'm trying to catch chat up on what's happened with the story, I am personally being caught up with what's happening in the story. So like, I completely understand, but like, that's been about the only game that I've played. That and been playing a lot of Marvel Snap. They had leagues this past week, so
you just got done saying I don't play card games like that.
Well, look, I don't play physical cards.
Plays it on his mobile phone.
Don't judge me. It's fake. It's fake cards. I don't buy real ones. So, which I do spend a good amount of money in that game. I haven't in a while, but I am being good. I'm being good. I spent all that money in Zenless Zone Zero, and I haven't booted up Zenless Zone Zero in like a week and a half.
Yeah, I think I deleted it.
What? You get your waifu simulator? You need to keep that.
I'm glad I didn't get sucked into the Marvel game.
Dude, you missed out. You should. Oh, yeah. You should. I will tell you what. I'll send you my reference code, and you can join.
And then just never use it, like me. You're just waiting on Disney Snap, and then you can.
Now my money has to go into Speed Storm. See, I like Marvel a lot.
I'm just waiting I'm waiting for them to release like Lorcana Mobile. Like that's what's going to happen, and then that will maybe get me. Who knows? But no, like I haven't been doing much other than like trying to nurse my sick self back to health. Tenderly says I'm always sick in the head, and maybe that's not wrong. The more I think about it, but we got a good show planned for tonight. But before we dive into the actual show, we had a Histowii U going on. And it's kind of topical. Super Nintendo released this day in America land. But which of these games did not launch with it? Was it A, Super Mario World, B, F-Zero, or C, A Link to the Past?
Easy.
And I will tell you right now, the answer was... Oh, Josh, you tell him. You tell him. You think it's easy? Hold on. Let's find out if you're right. Let's put the
Wait, you
pressure
said
on.
in America, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, well, it doesn't matter. It was a Link to the Past.
Yeah, it was a Link to the Past. It was a Link to the Past. So congratulations to those of you who may have known that answer, and to the rest of you who didn't, I'm sorry. But we're going to go into the thank yous here. We do want to thank everybody who is supporting the show. We launch membership pages on our website at nintendorewind.com. And what that means is you can sign up to directly support our content, guide what we're discussing, and get exclusive videos that won't be uploaded to our YouTube channel. There's currently 2 videos up over there. There's a Nintendo World Championships video where Chris and I competed head to head for the fastest time over all of the very first challenges in every game. And then he was actually, you were on vacation, but you know, hey,
playing that game actually sometimes. Anyway, go ahead. We
also have another video up over there with all 3 of us where we are covering "Am I the Bowser?" A riff on "Am I the Asshole?" Where basically we're going into Nintendo related AITA stories. And then deciding for the whole internet to see, deciding whether or not those people are Bowsers or not. So if you want to watch that stuff, you can go over there and support our channel. Plus merch discounts. There's even a tier that only costs $1 a month, and with it, you get a shout out on our show. That said, I'd like to thank our members this week: Calamity Nolan, Sierra Christian, and Shiny Bird. You guys are the light of our lives. Thank you for keeping the lights on in the studio. Now, without any further ado, let's dive into this week's MyNintendo digital and physical rewards news. Josh, take it away.
All right, so this week there's basically nothing. No, there actually is icons.
I mean, you're not wrong though. There is basically nothing. Nintendo forsook us.
Yeah, like I guess I'm a huge nerd because I like collecting little icons on there. I don't maybe they'll carry over or something, but that's literally all there is for MyNintendo this week. But anyway, we have the Nintendo World Championships NES edition, final wave, available until August the 14th, which is tomorrow. As you can see up there on the screen. I like the game. I actually sort of like these icons. They at least have a background, where a lot of these things don't give you a background to work with. These are built into the icons, so I think these are pretty good. You only got about a day left to grab them. We have some, a lot of these are new and returning ones. There is new and returning Nintendo Switch Sports Final Wave stuff available until tomorrow, as you can see on the screen there, for all 7 people who got that game.
Hey, I got it. It was okay. It wasn't good, but
I
got
it. I played it on someone else's. Anyway, the Play and Redeem Super Mario related icons are, of course, up. Basically, as always, available until August the 19th. You can see some of them there. You got your Wonder. You got Odyssey, Mario Kart. Pretty normal stuff, but if you missed it the first time or 2 around, there you go. It is all
there's
up
that
and ready for
taxi cab that got in here before Diddy Kong did.
Yeah, I know. There's everything in there that got in before. It's hard for me to ever change my thing again. Like, I like some of the NES ones on there, but yeah, I mean, you got Diddy there. We're going to go ahead and bring that one up again. They're available until September the 2nd. So yeah, you got a little bit to collect these. And, they do have 2 other Donkey Kong Country games that they should be hitting, so we should get another Diddy, Kitty, Dixie in there. So maybe some of the Brothers Bear, just completely go off the rails here.
It's not gonna happen.
It should. If Nintendo was still smart when they owned Rare. But anyway, the other icons on here is new and returning Split. Well, I believe a lot of these are actually new. I think it's a little bit of a mix here. I just started sharing some of these as we went up, so I'm not 100% sure. But there's Splatoon Grand Festival icons. They're available until August the 20th. You can see some of them there actually kind of swap in and out. Some of them looks to be some returning ones, but there's also like these ones that are directly for that Grand Festival that's coming up next month. for the what's presumably probably the last Splatfest of Splatoon 3. So you can see there's some dates on what wave has what in it and when they come up. Yeah, like I said, this pretty much just got posted as the show was starting, like live. So I haven't got a chance to look at all of them.
These were brand spanking new. Like Nintendo literally just tweeted this out at 9:30. So we were pressing the go live button and it was just out. So we haven't had the chance to actually look and see what there is. I will say I'm glad that they aren't just the like this art style on them, like the one that was the previous set of Splatoon ones that they did during the expansion pass stuff. They actually have more of like that key art that they do for the teasers for like bread, rice, pasta, Splatfists, and what have you. So,
no, I really like that old art style too. Like I like the ones on the card game in there.
Yeah, the table turf. That was fine. There were so many of those though.
Yeah, it got kind of old when they just week after week after week was those.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. There's some pretty cool icons up. Like I said, Donkey Kong Countries is the best, obviously. But there's some other good ones up here, too. You should probably go in and grab, I think. Yeah, really, other than that is it for MyNintendo this week.
All right, we'll kick it over to Vince. We've beat this into the ground, but I mean, there is still a continued seasonal event that is going on in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So you can absolutely still celebrate the 2024 World Championships. We are on part 3. These go through until August 22nd. You can get yourself a Gimmighoul chest form. This is spawning in 1 to 5-star Terra raids. So you'll be able to get Gimmighoul in its chest form in those raids, but also there are some mass outbreaks of the Wattrel, the Riolu, and the Comfey in their specific regions. Wattrel in Paldea, Riolu in Kitakami, and Comfey at the Blueberry Academy. All of those with the pumped up mark, as well as having a higher likelihood of having a shiny form available for you to be able to snag. So you can get yourself a special Pokemon. Then we go into a Splatfest that happened this past weekend. I never got the chance to play any of it. Did you fellas get the chance to play any?
I did 2 matches.
Ah, look at you supporting Team Bread.
I've had to play at least one match every Splatfest.
One for each slice of bread and a sandwich. But I will tell you guys, Rice took it by a large margin. I mean, it wasn't even close. I was Team Pasta, and even Pasta tried to fight their way out, and they couldn't get it. It was 200p difference with Rice coming in at 460p. So much P, all kinds of P. But I genuinely can't believe it. I'm not surprised that bread was as low ranked as it was comparatively. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, like, when people see bread, all they think is just white bread. They don't think about all the other good kinds of bread that you can have. People see pasta, they just think, oh, paschetti. So, I don't know. Yeah. Rice is bland, but it goes with everything, man. And I think...
The picture, to me, all I see is ice cream with rat turds on it.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine. This is French toast erasure. Oh, man. But congratulations, Team Rice. If you guys were on Team Rice, way to win. Way to absolutely mop the floor with pasta or bread. And then we've got the Tetris World Maximus Cup going on in Tetris 99. This is the 42nd Maximus Cup. That'll be happening this upcoming weekend, starting the 16th at midnight Pacific time. That'll be 3 a.m. our time, going through to the 19th, 3 a.m. on, I guess it would technically be the 20th for us at that point. So if you are a Tetris 99 Maximus Cup player and you want to get those backgrounds, make sure that you get those backgrounds in as soon as you get the chance to jump in there. Then we also finally have the last thing here that we cover just about weekly now is the Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. Current challenge is number 5, available until the 19th this upcoming week. Not yesterday, but 1 week from yesterday. Normal difficulty. Balloon Fight. Normal difficulty Super Mario Bros. 3, hard difficulty Kirby's Adventure, hard difficulty Super Mario Bros. 2, and master difficulty The Adventure of Link. Those respective challenges are Pop It and Balloon Fight, Hammer Bros. KO, Fireball Rush, Leap to the Peak, and Nayslayer in Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link. So if you want to try to be a champion Go compete, see where you rank, enjoy your time, share your results with us. We'd love to see how you guys do. Josh needs some competition. He's the fastest around, man. He's too OP.
Anybody else get a gold medal or two yet? I haven't gotten very many, but I try.
I've gotten a couple, but I haven't participated in as many of these challenges as I want to. What about you, Super Nintendo?
No, not at all.
You
I don't even
the
think,
game, didn't you?
Yeah, I haven't re-downloaded. No, I have it downloaded, but I just haven't played it.
No, I feel that.
I have all the icons or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Not the icons. What are they called? The pins. I have all of the pins.
That's impressive.
But,
I don't have all the pins yet, but is there like no hidden like getting S rank and everything pin?
No, there is for A or above. I got that one.
I was hoping there'd be like a hidden getting S rank and everything pin. I was thinking about continuing to grind that, but now knowing that my efforts would not be recognized, I'm not interested.
I don't have all S's granted, but it says it's complete.
Oh,
so
that explains it. That explains it. So you're just bad, is what you're saying.
No, I have a lot of
I'm just
S's.
kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time.
All the rest are A or higher.
Oh man, I'm just giving you a hard time. We do have a couple of sales that are going on before I dig myself too big a hole with one of my co-hosts here. And those sales are reflected over on Nintendo's website. You can see QuakeCon 2024 sale going from the 8th to the 22nd, up to 85% off select Bethesda titles. But some of the highlights that are here are Doom is 80% off for $7.99. Doom 64 60% off for $1.99. If you want to get Quake and Quake 2 Enhanced as a bundle, you can get both of those games for $9.99. Those games really kind of like sparked an interest in what I thought in online first-person shooters, and so it's kind of cool to see those making their way and into people's libraries at a much cheaper rate, which, granted, I mean, they were only like $10 prior, but like you can snag them up now. I really enjoyed Wolfenstein. I'd recommend that game just about to anybody, but maybe not the Switch port. Play that somewhere else. And then also, we have a Warner Bros. August sale that is going on. And some of the select titles on there save up to 85% on select Warner Bros. Games. Hogwarts Legacy 60% off, $27.99, which is an impressive feat that game even exists on the Nintendo Switch as a whole. Scribblenauts Showdown 80% off, $7.99, and Mortal Kombat 11 80% off, $9.99. You can snag all of those games. There's a lot of DLC stuff that's on sale too through this Warner Bros. Sale. If you have a lot of the Lego Star Wars games, some for the Lego Worlds, and then obviously Mortal Kombat DLC characters are a lot cheaper. But again, Mortal Kombat's probably another one that you'd probably want to play elsewhere out of all of those. So go check those out. Enjoy those games. Get yourself some deals. But Josh, you can actually speak to how good Hogwarts works on the Switch, right? You could talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no like what is that? I'm no like graphics snob or anything like that, or like I can't think of the term I'm trying to think of with how things run. But I mean, I played a decent bit of it. I beat the main game of it, and I never really had any major issues with it. I mean, you can maybe tell that it was made for something a little more powerful at parts, but I mean, as long as that's not something that is really all that detrimental to you, I think it runs perfectly fine. And it looks pretty good. Again, like you can tell maybe there's a better version out there somewhere, if that makes sense. But it's really not that bad. Like the game itself is really good, and I never really had any major issues with it. I need to go back to it. Honestly, there's some additional stuff, but yeah, I mean, I would recommend it.
Absolutely. Enjoy. Go check it out, Tindy. Without any further ado, though, we are going to dive into the main topic for tonight. So hang on just one second. We'll see you after this jump. Chris, what are we talking about, friend? What are we talking about tonight?
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. We are going to talk about launch titles, each console's launch, and then we're going to rate them. So we're going to go ahead. Do you want to start in chronological order?
Yeah, we can start in chronological order. We can jump in there. Let me pull up. Oh,
and we're doing the U.S. launches as well.
Yeah, we definitely need to do U.S. launches because none of us grew up in Japan. So, at least I don't think you did. Did you, Chris?
I did not.
You just silly Americans.
You Anyway, let's continue before I say something stupid.
Like Josh.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no, we've got how many consoles were there? 12 of them, I believe. 12 consoles that we've got to look at and rate their launch. Some of the ways that we are going to be looking at this though is going to be a little bit different because I mean it's like you can't compare Virtual Boy to the Switch in the sense that like those are two very different things, right? Like those are very, very different things. But one thing you can do is look at its lineup, the quality of games, and then the amount of support. And what I mean by that is the quantity of games as well. And that can kind of help solidify what we think. And let's go ahead. We can start with NES, Chris. What did we have for NES? Do you have a convenient list for us Americans here?
I do. For the NES?
Yeah.
I don't. No,
okay.
I don't. No.
I'll start us off then.
The other ones I do.
So we've got in America land. Okay, so NES came out in a lot of years ago. Okay, NES came out, and in America we actually got a lot of games. I think there were like 17 games that were out on launch day for us. The first game on there, 10-Yard Fight, which is I believe a football game, not actual fighting over 10 yards, but I think it was a football game. Baseball, Clue Land, Duck Hunt, which was a pack-in game, Excite Bike, Golf, Gyromite, which was a Rob the Robot game, and that was a pack-in game with the robot, so you could get that at launch as well. And for those who don't know, go play Smash and then just select Rob, and you'll know what Rob the Robot is. Hogan's Alley, Ice Climber, Kung Fu, Mock Rider, Pinball, Stack Up, Super Mario Bros., which was a pack-in game as well, Tennis, Wild Gunman, and Wrecking Crew. 17 games at launch, which is absolutely insane, the amount of support here. Now, are all 17 of those games bangers? I have a really hard time saying that. But Chris, let's hear your opinion first before I give mine and before we hear from Josh. Let's hear you.
Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of most of the black box games, and this is just filled with them. Rob the Robot sucks.
That's a hot take. Can we get hot take emotes in chat, please?
I like him in Smash, but I don't like Gyromite. I don't like the games that he came with. I think the robot himself is probably the best thing about him. The games that you can play with him, terrible.
He was pretty novel though, man. Like that was such a strange thing to like see, especially for like day one, because they took this from being even less about just being a video game console, but turned it into like a toy as well. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to go, that sucks.
Yeah, well, would you want to go play Gyromite? No, you don't want to play Gyromite.
If I had Rob the Robot, I'd play some Gyromite. Like this.
2 seconds, you would be done with it. It was terrible.
I'm gonna speedrun that game.
Yeah, you're gonna speedrun it because you're gonna want to be done it as soon as possible.
Oh my god. That's hateful.
Mario is probably the only one that Mario and Excite Bike, probably the only two I can tolerate today out of those launch titles. And even Mario, I'm sick and tired of playing that game. Been playing it. They've given it to me so many times, and I play it every time, and every time I'm like, I think I played enough Mario 1, and I keep going back. I scan these e-reader cards. They got me playing that thing all the time. I'm tired of it.
I mean, it has been on just about every one of these consoles in some fashion.
Yeah.
I think the
Just
e-reader
about.
cards is the one he brought up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh
The
man.
most convenient way to play it.
So okay.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're telling me, without absolutely just putting it out there, is you're wanting this to go in the F category. Which, by the way, we're ranking this from S to F with no D. So it's S, A, B, C, F. So are you wanting this to go into F? Is that where you think the NES belongs?
The NES launch? I don't think the launch. I would probably put it at C. Wouldn't put it in F.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of titles. It's a lot of titles, and that's the thing is like there's a lot of support there. Whether or not they're all good is the question. But I mean it was like 1980s. Like it's hard to define what was a good game back then. I mean at max you had quarter eaters at the arcades. At least you could play these games at home and be frustrated instead of broken out of your house and frustrated. So,
Gyromite.
no, that's true, and you can't play Gyromite anywhere else. That's the only place you can play Gyromite. Like,
They can keep it. Yeah.
Josh, how do you feel about it, man? What are you expecting here?
There is a lot of games here, and we have a lot of stuff to cover, so I won't sit on it too long. But I do think there's a decent variety here, and while there's a very few here maybe that I haven't played, I've played most of them, and no, they're not like the greatest gems out there in the world, but I think it's a pretty darn good variety, or this being like the base, of like what was to come. Like there was not a whole lot before this to go off of, and I think they have a pretty decent amount here. I mean, like everybody knows. You should, because it's the best sport. Everybody knows what baseball is, So there's that, and then there's golf. I mean, golf is still pretty fun on there. Super Mario Brothers was, I mean, it is what it is, obviously. But so I really think it at least deserves that C, maybe even a B.
Man, okay.
I'd probably put it on the B, to be honest.
Okay, well, here's where I land on it. I gave Chris a really, really hard time. The thing that I have a hard time looking past, right, is the fact that there's a lot of support here. Nintendo got a lot of partners to make a lot of games come out on the day their brand new console that was supposed to reinvigorate the home console market, and have them ready on launch day and put them all out. So, like, it's impressive what they did with that. But what isn't impressive is the quality of game here, because I'm kind of with Chris in the sense that like Super Mario Bros. Like it or not, and be eating your regurgitated breakfast every single year there's a new console. Super Mario Bros. Has kind of stayed, and it's been constant, and you know what you're getting out of that game, and it is a good game. Is it the best Mario game? No, not by far. And if you want to know about that, go check out our previous episode where we ranked all the Super Mario Bros. Games. But it's still a good game. Hogan's Alley, I really like in here. Some people might say Excite Bike is a good game. Some people.
I think it's okay.
People with good taste, yeah, probably.
Maybe I just don't have that taste. But, Excite Bike is on there as a game. It is definitely a game. But like some of these things, like I said, like I gave Chris a really hard time on Rob the Robot. It wasn't a game as much as it was a toy. And so and it was an additional, I think that thing was $169 or something at launch too, on top of what you were already paying for the console. So like how many people could afford to get all of that on launch day? That's crazy insanity. So, I mean, I kind of lean toward where Chris is at with the C category as well. I don't think this is an F. Just based on quantity alone, I don't think this is an F. Because we will have Fs on this list. Like, there are going to be Fs. But I don't think the NES is necessarily an F tier console launch, in my opinion. It's hard for me to say that because of how much support was there. So, are we all comfortable? You said C, Chris. Josh, you said B. I'm going to go with C. So now it's no longer me forcing my will. We have a tiebreaker. There's three of us here. So I think we're going to be putting the NES in C. I would
say high C, but there's literally nothing else there.
It's the only C at this point. It is the only C. So then the next console that came out was the Game Boy. And this is the original ugly olive green brick that ate through 4 AA's in a matter of 8 hours. And you couldn't play it at night, and you had to have specific lighting conditions. You can't just play it in blaring light either. It's one of those things. But Game Boy, here's what they had on launch day. They had Alleyway. They had baseball. Again, baseball. 2 times in a row, baseball launch title.
Good game.
Super Mario Land, which there's a lot of people wouldn't say that's the best Super Mario Land. I really like that Super Mario Land, but
2 is way better. But anyway,
that's to each their own. Tennis, Tetris, which was the packing game with it, and Yakuman, which I think that one may have been Japan only, but they didn't specify between it. I don't remember having Yakuman here in the States.
No idea what that is.
But I could be wrong. Here's what I think, okay? As much as Super Mario Land was not Super Mario Bros., and as much as you didn't really have a high variety here, you did get Tetris. And Tetris pervades, man. Tetris is fun all the way across, pretty much any way you play it. The music makes the game. It truly does. But, Tetris has been good since the beginning. And on top of that, this console would eventually grow into being something amazing. But I would argue that even though this has less support, I think the quality of games that they put here, the quality of games across the board here, is a little more reliable than what the NES had. And so for that reason alone, I'm willing to put my line in the sand and say that the original Game Boy is a B. That's where I'm willing to put it. But Josh, how do you feel, sir?
See, to me, I almost feel like I'd put it on that same, very close to the NES for me, because like I said, with the NES, there wasn't a whole lot of, I don't think there's a whole lot of just straight garbage. There's some decent stuff there, and the Game Boy just has so much less. There's nothing inherently bad here, though. I mean, Alleyway, baseball, Super Mario Land, tennis, I guess, is what it is. Maybe it would be fun with someone else. I have no idea what Yakuman is, but I'm not really counting that one. I mean, again, Tetris though really is kind of the big one there that withstood all of it. For me, I don't know. In a Super Mario Land, not a bad game. It's just extremely short and it doesn't control that great.
I would say it controls better than the original Super Mario Bros. Though. I like how it controls even better than that.
That might be fair. It's close. It's a close race in that. Gosh, this one's really particularly tough. I'm gonna say a B is actually pretty fair.
Higher
More I
than
look
the
at
NES. Okay. I've got one on my team. Chris, where are you at, dude? Where? How do you feel?
An F. It's just
F?
terrible.
Holy
No.
crap. I was like, hold on.
I say Tetris at least says something.
Yeah, Tetris is probably the best thing about it. But also that launch screen. Yeah, I'll probably give it a C.
Okay.
Oh, well, okay, wait a minute. If I can back up, I didn't think about that because I didn't play this on the crappy green thing. I played this on the pocket and the collar.
Yeah.
Or on virtual whatever.
Play that on the print screen green title
If
screen.
we're counting the system itself, then yes, it's very much a Z. Very much belongs back down there.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
original
I'll move it
hardware.
to C. I want to disagree. Okay.
I would even put it behind the NES.
Well, that was my next
I
question.
would with that thing.
All right. Well, now I've been outvoted completely, so it's gone straight to behind
Sorry.
the NES. You
This
sons
screen's just garbage.
of... Oh man. Okay, fine. We'll put it below the NES, but my God, you can't tell me that Tetris is not such an S tier game. It puts all of those games that are up there in the NES out to shame on its own. It's too good. Anyway,
It's a pretty fair argument, but the system itself was kind of poop.
Fine.
looking back at it.
We aren't rating the
It came
system.
out the same month
We're rating the launch.
I was born. I should be defending it, but
We're rating the
strange.
launch. It's not the system, because you can't compare the Game Boy to the NES in that same sense. Come on now. Listen, Emperor Gambessa gets it. Tetris.
Complicated.
Emperor Gambessa gets it.
Yeah, it looks like they fell asleep.
No,
Tetris,
they're
and then they're sleeping.
No, that's their O face. That's how I take that. I think that's good.
A little better.
That does not. It's not. That's not what I got from that.
I don't know.
No,
It says sleeper is what the name of the emote is.
no, well,
Anyway.
it's a sleeper hit. That's what they're saying. It's a sleeper
It's a
hit.
snore fest.
You're a snore fest. Super
I know.
Nintendo Entertainment System. This came out in 1991. So we talked about it at the beginning of the show. We're going to be talking about it right now. Super Nintendo Entertainment System, okay? America Land got this when the Super Nintendo came out. We got F-Zero. We got Pilot Wings. We got Gradius 3. We got Sim freaking City, and we got Super Mario World, the packing game. So, let me see. Josh, you haven't gotten to start us out. Josh, how do you feel? Make your argument. Let's see if you can sway both Cody and Chris.
This is a little difficult. This is like where it began for me. Super Mario World is still possibly my favorite Mario game. Like that to me really shoves that thing up there. Like, it's going to be hard to shake it from like an A for me. F-Zero, I really like F-Zero. It's not my favorite F-Zero, but I still really like the original. One thing that hurts it really for me on that game is the lack of multiplayer, which is really weird going back. Like, I realized Super Mario Kart wasn't out yet, but really feels like that should have had 2-player on it. Pilot Wings is okay. It was a pretty neat, look at like the Mode 7 graphics and things like that. Pilot Wings has never been my favorite series. I'm not fantastic at it, but it is a pretty interesting game, and one I can really see the appeal on. Maybe if I'd really take time out for it. Gradius is fine. It is what it is, and it's fun. I don't have a whole lot to say on that one. SimCity is a special one to me. I don't have time for all the stories on that one, but I do really like that SimCity. I like it better than some more modern iterations of that title. So, try not to let like personal bias get in the way too much here.
I mean, it's you get to call it. Don't worry, we'll be letting our own personal biases get in the way, and then it'll help
just,
it
just
decide.
leave it at the A for me. Just put it at the A.
Okay, so you're wanting it in A. Okay.
Yeah, it's got world. I mean,
Christopher.
An F. Just put it right down.
Dude exists to just give us all just like heart attacks. Like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? That's gonna average out to a C at that point.
Super Mario World. Yeah.
Super Mario World,
F-tier
overrated,
Mario.
overrated 2D Mario. No, I absolutely love SimCity. It's probably my favorite game on this list. I mean, you get to go around, you get to build your city, you get to have Bowser come and attack if you want.
Yeah.
I guess I'd put it at I guess we could say a B.
I think that's fair. Holy cow, my stomach just did the weirdest noise in the world. Did you guys hear that? It came out. I think there's a lot of good here, just in general, and we talked about quantity of game on the NES, and there was a lot, but there wasn't a lot that was great. And I feel like pretty much all 5 of these games that came out, instead of 17, but all 5 of these games that came out were amazing games in their own right. And you've got Super Mario World, you've got SimCity. I mean, Super Mario World being a platformer, SimCity being a sim game, management game. You got Gradius 3, you got Pilot Wings being an airplane game, and you got F-Zero being like the first high-speed racer, really, that most people can kind of think of whenever they think about that genre. And all of those games being the quality that they are. That's what kind of changes this launch for me. And quantity is not always the best thing. Quality is important to me too. And so that's why I'm kind of with Josh on this one, where it's like, yeah, this is an A tier launch. And that's not just like my nostalgia glasses, like rose coloring it. I think it's just evidence of you had 5 really good high variety amount of games to choose from here. And yeah, I mean, like, you got your shmups, you got your management, you got your platform, you got 2 weird games, High Speed Racer, and then aerial. I mean, it's kind of flying, but it's also not, because you're diving out of your plane trying to land on a target. So, I mean, that's kind of cool too. Just a very huge variety of games that you get to choose from here, and kind of bend that system to your will. So I think A is kind of where I land on it. So you said A, Josh. Chris, you said B?
Yep.
And I said A, so we're gonna drop that one in A. That does bring us to the virtual
I was about to drop it down to a C. An A.
He's gonna move it to C on purpose now.
Yeah, you're listening to you talk about how there's only 5 run-of-the-mill games, and then
run-of-the-mill. These things have stayed their welcome. They haven't outstayed their welcome. They are welcome forever. They are the greatest. No, I'm kidding. Not the greatest games ever. One of them is really, really good. But I gotta tell you, Chris, like, come on, man. Like, it is good games. You can't deny that they're not all good. Every one of them are good. He grunts into the microphone.
I don't really. I mean, F-Zero. I don't know that I enjoy playing that now.
You don't think F-Zero? I like F-Zero. I'm with Josh in that F-Zero GX is better. But
oh yeah, GX, yeah.
But I like F-Zero. And F-Zero 99 was a fun experiment within that same thing.
I like 99.
Yeah. See? What do you got against the regular F-Zero then? Why are you who you are?
It's just not, we'll see what happens.
All right, we're putting it in A. That's where we're going to put it. We'll reevaluate. Yeah. We'll reevaluate at the end, but we're going to put it in A for now. Now we get to the much maligned Virtual Boy, the thing that everybody claims gave them headaches. I own one of these. Did anyone else here own one?
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris owned one. Have you played any of the games for it, Josh? Emulating or otherwise?
Played Mario Tennis at a KB Toys 20 some years ago. 30. Oh, holy crap, I'm old. Whenever this thing came out, that was the only time I've actually ever used one. I think somehow, as much as a Nintendo fan I am, I feel like I've emulated a couple of them maybe at one point, but I don't remember it well.
Okay. So I still have one. I have to repair the islands. It's just about once a year because they didn't do the islands too well, but it still does its thing. It still does its thing. So here were the 4 games that came out with the Virtual Boy, though. Mario Tennis, which was the packing game. Red Alarm, which I've never played. Telero Boxer, which is probably the best game on the console, mind you. And Galactic Pinball, which, again, I haven't had the chance to play. So I've played 2 of the games that are on this list, Mario Tennis and Telero Boxer. Chris, have you played all of these or no?
Yeah, I played all of them.
Okay. Then I'm going to default to you. You tell the people what you think and make the argument here.
It's probably my favorite. Still trash. Probably an F.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, it was not very good. I'm not a fan. I mean, I'm a fan of the idea of the Virtual Boy. I late at night will just read stories about how they tried, and part of Nintendo was pushing for it to be in color, and then they were like, but it would cost too much, so let's put it in. We would save money if we did red and just.
You can thank Gunpei Yokoi for that. They just wanted to cheap out just a little bit, and I don't blame them.
Gunpei Yokoi wanted it in color.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. New info for me. I didn't realize that because that man was known hardcore for wanting to put in the cheapest materials into these consoles. He was a big fan of Tiger Electronics. I don't know if anybody remembers those. Those are all F-tier launches, but... Oh, yeah. Man. But,
Game.com.
I kind of agree with you. As much as I love my Virtual Boy, and it was like my whale item that I was looking for whenever I was collecting super hard, because I wanted a Virtual Boy at a good price, not at the $400 it costs to be able to buy one. It was my whale item, but I mean, Mario Tennis, even though it's like this is the first Mario Tennis game, is bad. Telero Boxer is genuinely really good, As a game period. If it were to come out on any other consoles, I think people would really enjoy Teleroboxer. But Galactic Pinball, Red Alarm, I've never played. And if I'm only hitting like 50% of the mark here with the games on this list being good that I know of, out of the 2 I've played, only one of them is really good. Like I've got to say, like, I'm with you, Chris. Like, this is an F tier launch. This is 4 games, and one of them out of the 4 is really, really, really good that I know of. So I don't know. Josh, do you disagree with Chris or I?
Not really. I mean, if I've even emulated these things, I don't really remember them. I vaguely remember Mario Tennis, and I don't remember it being good or bad. I remember, was Donkey Kong Jr. in that one? I believe he was.
I
know he
have
was
to
in the
boot it up. I
64
can't
game,
remember.
and then
I would have to boot it up.
never
I
returned.
genuinely can't remember.
Anyway, not important, but yeah, I'm perfectly fine with this.
Hang on. Mario Tennis Virtual Boy roster. Let me see. Mario's Tennis had Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, Toad, Koopa, and Donkey Jr. was what his name was in there. So
I remember
yeah. So I don't know. F tier. We're going. It's F.
There's a reason Virtual Boy failed. Just leave it there.
Then we get to Nintendo 64. And prepare yourselves because this had the most massive launch title support ever. It came with Pilot Wings 64 and Super Mario 64. And that is it for that console in America. You had the choice between 2 games, okay? And it's Super Mario 64 and Pilot Wings 64. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to make an argument here, okay? I'm going to make the hard argument here. Because Super Mario 64, as mid of a game as it is now, when you compare it to stuff like Super Mario Odyssey, when you compare it to... I am a Super Mario Sunshine enjoyer even. I love Super Mario Sunshine more than I like Super Mario 64. When you compare it to Super Mario Galaxy, like it does not stand up, right? But we can't compare it to those other games. We have to look at it as the time capsule it is. Here's the problem. Even though for its time, Super Mario 64 was revolutionary and would be an S tier video game for its time compared to everything else that was out there, because this was the first revolutionary 3D platformer, right? Pilot Wings 64 and Super Mario 64 is it at launch? Are you freaking kidding me? There's 2 games to choose from. What else are you going to play? Nothing, because there's nothing else out there. It's garbage. So I've got to say, like, this is better than Virtual Boy, but not good. And I know I tried to put my line in the sand and say Tetris was better than all of NES, and that brought it up. But like, it's hard for me to look at the N64 and go, this is a good launch. There's no support there, and there's 2 games, and one of them is good, and the other one really isn't anything to write home about. Pilot Wings 64 is okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, take it away. One of you two. I don't care who tells me I'm wrong.
Where did you put it?
I put it above the Virtual Boy in F tier.
Oh, no. Okay. No. Okay. I'll definitely not put it in F tier for Mario 64 alone. Especially being there at the time. Like, you know, I'm old.
But it's
we all are pretty old. I know, but one of the games is really good, and that was like, that thing is iconic. Like, being there and seeing that first, like, really big 3D game, that's just one of those, like, really cool moments back as a kid. And that game, I think, is still really good. I don't think it's as good as, like, Galaxy and Odyssey and all of that, but I think it still stands up fairly well for what it is. Pilot Wings, I didn't get at launch. There's a ton of other games. I love the Nintendo 64. There's a lot of games I love on there. But yeah, just going off of this launch, I wouldn't put it at an F.
You're gonna tell me 2 games, and one of them being great is gonna be better than the Game Boy. It's gonna be better than the NES.
Yes, because to me, to me, I'd rather play Mario 64 over pretty much like any of those launch games on the game. What Tetris is a little bit of a different story. Being that version though, I'd rather play the game in color, which is Mario, not like a black and white version of Tetris.
Okay.
That's just me.
So where are you putting
I
it?
would put it. This is still a little hard. This is not the N64 overall for me. I'm good, but I'm gonna put it above the NES on a C.
Okay.
Highest C.
So we're averaging out now. So right now it's I put it in F above the Virtual Boy. You're putting it above the NES. So we'll average it out and we'll bump it into C above the DMG.
We'll see where Chris is at here.
Where are you wanting this? What do you think?
I think the Nintendo 64. I'll tell you what. You talk about how there's only 2 games. Throughout the entire life of the N64, Super Mario remained one of the only good games to play on that dang thing. I would probably say, besides WCW NWO Revenge.
I'll agree with that, and I'm not even like a wrestling fan. That was a good game just in general.
Banjo-Kazooie was even better.
The wrestling games were probably my favorite N64 games. Jeez Louise. Superman, of course.
Superman 64, greatest game of all time.
It's not called Superman 64, but yes. But yeah, I would say it's probably fine there where it is. C above the Game Boy.
Below the NES. Man, that's crazy that game got put there though, because there is a lot of good here. You know, like a lot of people, you know, they berate the N64 for being clunky and it was pioneering technology, right? But like, there's a lot of good games on there. I loved Smash Bros. 64. I loved Mario Kart 64. I loved Vigilante 8. Vigilante 8. Josh loves every rare game that came out on there. GoldenEye. He loves Perfect Dark. He loves
Perfect Dark is fantastic.
Like there are some decent games that are on there.
Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie.
But man, like to have 2 games at launch and one of them be good, it's hard to like say, yeah, no, this is like a good console launch. This is an absolute utter failure of a console launch in my opinion. But
very odd launch.
It's just bad.
Thank you.
We get into the Game Boy Color, and then this might be even worse than the N64, mainly because of the quality of game that is here. So here's what you get. You get 4 games with the Game Boy Color at launch. Centipede, Tetris DX, which again is not a good Tetris game. Regular Tetris is good. Tetris DX, they screwed up the music and it ruined the game somehow.
Yeah. It's no Tetris DS.
It's not. Pocket Bomberman and Game & Watch Gallery 2. Which is, I mean, it's okay, but it's just Game & Watch games with a reskin of Nintendo characters. So, there's like nothing here. There's nothing here on the Game Boy Color. So, let me see. I started that last one off. Chris, how you feeling about Game Boy Color?
Yeah. I feel, you know what, I'll say I think the Virtual Boy is better than that hunk of junk.
Better than the Game Boy Color?
Yeah, the better than the launch of the Game Boy Color.
Okay.
Not better than the Game Boy Color.
I'm going to have to give this a high grade to get it out of
there. Which of those launch titles games did you like?
I mean, he has a point. What of those 4 launch titles was the best?
We'll get there.
All right, so far Chris is putting this below Virtual Boy. There's nothing to even talk about with this. I guess I'm agreeing with Chris. It's bad. This is a bad launch. It's not a bad console. This is a terrible launch. So Josh, tell me why it doesn't belong here then. Okay. Convince me.
For me, it's really hard. It's really weird to have Game Boy Color in here anyway. I never saw it as like its own console. Like it just feels like it's just the next step for a Game Boy. Like a DS to a DSi. I mean, maybe it's a little more than that because I know there is like exclusive Game Boy Color games, but I don't know. It doesn't feel fair because these are all just like remakes of something else, essentially. I haven't played Centipede on there. I mean, Tetris here, I don't know about the music, to be honest, off the top of my head, but is essentially a better version than the original one because it has color.
No, it's not. It's bad. It was a double cart too because it was one of the black carts, so you could play it on the original Game Boy with no color.
Oh yeah.
And
But then, I mean, Pocket Bomberman, I think I've played that one before, but it's Bomberman. Bomberman's always fairly good if it's just pretty much the general Bomberman setup. Again, I'd rather have it with multiplayer there, so that's a little weird. Game & Watch Gallery 2, I will defend those. I do like those games. They're a little repetitive, and I kind of feel like there's a reason they don't really come back often like nowadays. I don't feel like modern audiences would be very interested in these. They're just kind of like repetitive.
They're like
But
Tiger
I do really
Electronics
like
games made for consoles.
Sort of, yeah. They're a little bit. The modern versions are a little bit better. The modern ones on there, I think, are pretty decent, and the little museum unlockables and things like that. That's probably, to me, that's the thing I'd be most interested in this, other than Tetris. I know you all disagree with this, and that's fine. I would put it above the original Game Boys because Tetris is here, and it's a little bit better, minus the music. And nothing here is bad. It's just there. I don't know. I'm not going to fight that too hard. I would put it above the Game Boy. Excuse me. But
all right.
But I'm really not going to defend it that hard.
All right, counsel. And by counsel, I mean Chris. He wants to put it above the Game Boy. We both agreed that it goes below the Virtual Boy. Do we bump it up to below the Game Boy on C, or leave it above the Virtual Boy on F?
I'll let you all have that, because come to think of it, the Game Boy did start Tetris. This did not. So, granted, the Game Boy screen looks like poop, but I might just let you have that one.
It's a better Tetris. All right, we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it above Virtual Boy then. In that case, if he's gonna waffle on it, here's what we get into next, though. We get into the Game Boy Advance, okay? And
Japan list.
The Japan list is massive. It's massive, and there's some stuff in the Japan list, and you guys are gonna have to try to keep me honest on this, because there's some stuff that is not
our list is a little
listed in the American one that should be listed in the American one. I'm gonna try to remember to hit those.
There's only two.
Better Nintendo.fandom.
What are the two? What are the two? Yeah, hit us with them. What was out?
Okay, so we got Army Men Advance. We got Choo Choo Rocket. We got Dodgeball Advance. We got F-Zero Maximum Velocity. We got Fire Pro Wrestling, one of the best wrestling games of all time. We got Fortress. We got High Heat Baseball 2002. We got Iridian 3D. We got Pitfall: The Mayan Adventure. We got Rayman. We got Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2. Super Mario Advance. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Top Gear GT Championship. And Tweety and the Magical Jewel. And Castlevania Circle of the Moon.
16 games. 16 games at launch. And almost all of those are really good. Almost all of those are really good. I would say the Super Mario Advance is the best way to play Super Mario Bros. 2. I would say that's the best way to play Super Mario Bros. 2. And even though it's a remake, it's not. It is very different from its predecessor, like the game that it is a port of. Like, it is a very different experience. Army Men Advance was a good game, from what I remember of it. Iridian 3D, I still go back and play today. I really love Iridian 3D. Namco Museum, Pitfall, I can skip on. Rayman Advance, that's interesting. Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2, I don't really care about. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, that's the worst way to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but it's kind of cool that it's there. And then you mentioned Choo Choo Rocket, which is good.
Choo Choo Rocket's a good game.
Castlevania Circle of the Moon is a really good Castlevania game. I think there are better Castlevania games out there, but I think that one's a good one.
Yeah, it was, only hindered by it being dark and the screen sucking on the Game Boy Man.
Yeah, which later got retconned with an SP. It later got retconned, but like at launch, all we had was the silver backing, very similar to what you had with the Game Boy Color. Man, that's a lot of games, and that's a lot of good games. I'm gonna hold with my ranking. I don't want to say my ranking out loud just yet. I want to wait and measure out what everyone else is going to say. How do you feel, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, there are some pretty good choices here. I loved playing Mario Advance in particular. I've always liked Mario Brothers 2 anyway, the USA version, I guess. With the screen crunch, maybe I would almost argue that like the All-Star versions is maybe a little bit better, and without like some of the voices that can be a little grating after a while. Other than that side of it, though, like I really like the little bit of extras it added, where you could go back and find the Yoshi eggs. I remember being very disappointed that you didn't unlock Yoshi like I thought you would when you found them all, but whatever. It was still a really cool way to play it. So I have good memories of that. Namco Museum is, of course, kind of one of those like take it or leave it, but it's still there. It's pretty good. My only, I guess, real issue. There's a few of these actually I haven't played, or at least not spent much time on for a long, long time. But I feel like there's a decent amount of like games that you could have played these elsewhere before, or that are on other systems. Like even Rayman Advance, if I remember correctly, that one is sort of a remake of the original PlayStation game. It's a remake of one of them. I can't remember. I'm pretty certain that one's already. It's just sort of a rehash of one of the other ones. And then of course, Namco Museum Mario Advance is Mario Brothers 2. So there's a few of those that's just sort of like already been done. And there's like I don't know if anyone bought the boxing game or that version of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. If they had the better versions of them, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I still think it's pretty solid. It's really hard for me to put a grade to it though, because I just don't feel like some of these stuck with me as much as some others.
Do you want me to? I'll tell you what I was going to do. I wanted to hold off, but I'll tell you what I was going to do. Because this is 16 games that are actually really high quality. Almost all of these are high quality games. And they're good. They're good games. Even the ones that are ports are still good experiences of those games. Mm-hmm. I was going to put this one in S. This is a really good launch. This is a solid launch. 16 games and like 75% of them are amazing.
I'm going to say, gosh, this is actually really hard. If there was a little more, like a big Nintendo title, maybe is what I feel like.
Are you telling me Super Mario Advance is not a big Nintendo title?
No.
That was their big Nintendo title, and it spurned off a series on that console.
Yeah, but it's sort of a remake. Don't get me wrong, I still love that game. All right, I'm gonna put it at.
Wait, you were just fighting for Tetris DX.
You was. Would you rather play it in black and white?
Green and filmy.
I will put it at A below the Super Nintendo.
Susie's saying, I'm starting to wonder if you guys like video games. Chris, how are you feeling? So it's averaging out so far. It's above the SNES so far. How are you feeling about this launch, Chris?
It's my favorite Nintendo launch ever. I think it's an S. Right. It's so Fire Pro Wrestling is fantastic. Dodgeball Advance, I must have played that for 15-20 hours. Then you got the Choo Choo Rocket, which is just a remake of Choo Choo Rocket on the But yeah, then Super Mario Advance, I did not like the trend that they started with just remaking those crappy old games.
You shut your mouth right now. This is a Mario channel. You get behind it.
I eat baseballs better. But Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is awesome on Game Boy Advance. Even playing it today, I think it's fun. It looks really good, but yeah, Fire Pro Wrestling easily, and Castlevania Circle of the Moon. My brother bought the system at launch, and he was like, "Look at this! He showed me like at the in the parking lot of Home Depot. He's like, "What do you think of this?" He's like, "They got like 4 more systems," and so we went and got some game system, traded it all in, and bought like every single launch title. But yeah, it's an S for me.
I'm kind of with you. The thing is, and I know we're evaluating launch for this as well, but like this console, the GBA in general is quite possibly my favorite console period that Nintendo has done. If I get past the Nintendo Switch, it will likely be my favorite console Nintendo has ever done.
My favorite handheld, not counting the Switch.
Yeah, like it's the thing. The thing is like it revolutionized gaming in such a way that like I could take all of those Super Nintendo titles that I loved on the go later. Obviously not at launch, but like I love that console, and I mean to see it come out so strongly, just solidifies for me. This belongs in the S tier. We get into one that I don't know if it's good or not. But I really don't know. And again, Chris, Josh, you guys are gonna have to keep me honest on this. This is GameCube, Luigi's Mansion, Super Monkey Ball, Wave Race Blue Storm, All-Star Baseball 2002, Batman Vengeance, Crazy Taxi, Dave Mirra's Freestyle BMX 2, Disney's Tarzan Untamed, Madden NFL 2002, NHL Hits 2002. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. And did I miss anything there?
I
don't think I missed anything.
This list on here. But did you say Super Monkey Ball?
Yes, I said Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
Wait a minute,
So,
never mind. Was Pikmin not in?
4, 5, 6,
Pikmin was like 2 weeks later.
13.
weeks.
13
Oh, it was one of those like
games.
Smash Brothers. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, that and Smash Brothers. came
And your
out.
launch title is Luigi's Mansion. Chris, tell us, what are you feeling?
That's not good. I'll tell you what.
I mean, it's no Mario getting launched on launch day, but you know, not a Zelda either.
But I'd probably still put it above all that other junk on the C tier.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
I put it above the NES, I guess.
So we're going to put it in C tier above NES, or are we going to put it in B tier?
Put it in B tier with what? There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
You said above the
Nothing.
NES. Oh, you want it in C
on
tier
the
above
C.
the NES.
Yeah.
Okay, you want
Yeah,
it
what do
in
you-
C. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Not the GameCube tier.
I understand. All right. John, I'm not even going to ask you to justify that, Chris. I understand, I guess.
Yeah, the launch does justify. So what do you need to do about it?
Oh, man, Josh, how you feeling about the GameCube, dude?
I remember this launch pretty well. I will say, little side note, I saw Europe got Sonic Adventure 2 Battle at launch. That would have put this on like S for me. Anyway, no, I think this had a pretty solid launch. I really like Luigi's Mansion. It was something completely new. I still really like the original one. It was just something I'd never really seen before with Mario or that series. It was Luigi's own game. A lot of good to that. Super Monkey Ball, that's a great one. Kind of hard, but it's a pretty good one. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, Rogue Leader is underrated. That is one of my favorite Star Wars games. That game is awesome. So I love that one. Crazy Taxi. It's good fun. If I remember right, the baseball one's pretty good. I vaguely remember Tarzan having some fun on that. Like my dad and my step siblings and stuff own that. I can't remember much about it, but I think I had some fun with it. There's some pretty decent stuff here. There's some stuff here that's not super for me, like the Madden games and whatever in NHL. But I don't know how good Tony Hawk was. But for the most part, there was some pretty good stuff on here. In my opinion, I would. Again, if Melee and Pikmin were here just a little bit earlier, it would have knocked it up.
They screwed
a
it
lot
because
higher.
it was 2 weeks later. It was 2 weeks later for two of the best games on the console.
My problem right now is B or A.
Well, I'll help you settle it because here's what I will say I will say it's B.
Go ahead.
I think it's B. So even if you go A, it's going to average out to B.
So,
So,
Should have put it at F.
oh
where
my
it
God,
belongs.
it isn't that bad though.
I
Like
can't put it
Luigi's
below
Mansion
B.
is amazing, and it is better than all of the other consoles that are on there. This launch is like it is genuinely better. The games are better. The quality of games are better. Maybe not the quantity. I mean, there's like 10 games here
Decent
for launch day.
Yeah.
But like Luigi's Mansion's great. Super
don't want
Monkey
too
Ball is good. Wave Race Blue Storm is a more inferior Wave Race, but I mean it's still a good Wave Race. Crazy Taxi's on here.
Water looks good still.
Star Wars Rogue Squadron's good. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, amazing. Like I think there's a lot to love there. But it's definitely not better than the SNES. But it is 100% better than the NES and everything else that's before it. So I like this launch. I like this launch. I like the support. I like what they have here. And I mean, you had a lot to look forward to within 2 weeks, but I mean, you can't evaluate it on that alone. You know, we're talking about launch day, so. But I think
if it was that, I'd
good.
probably put this above the Super Nintendo maybe at the launch. I don't know. It'd be really close.
That's impressive.
Just to give it that extra edge. It would be very close.
Nintendo DS. Okay. So here's what we got. Asphalt Urban GT. Phil the Magic XY XX, aka Project Rub, which I'm not familiar with, and that sounds like a problem.
No.
Madden NFL 2005. Metroid Prime Hunter's First Hunt, which I've heard was a pack-in game. I didn't have a DS.
It's a demo.
At launch. Spider-Man 2. Super Mario 64 DS, which I would tell people that's probably the best way to play Super Mario 64. I like that game a lot. I like that version of it a lot. It gets a little bloated because of the additional characters and the things that you do in that game, but I think it's good. The Herbs, Sims in the City, and that was everything, correct? I didn't miss anything, did I, Chris?
These looks are kind of funky, but
Ping Pals. We also got Ping Pals.
Ping Pals. Okay. So
I don't know what that is anyway.
So
it was like PictoChat, but like it looked like PictoChat, but it was like it was dumb. It was like
but dumb.
Like
it was like,
it was collect and trade.
This is not
it was
too
like
important, I guess.
some weird,
it's only like 2 games on here that are good, right?
I'm just kidding.
Like there's only 2 games on here that are good.
Define good. What do you...
Well, I see Mario. Where's the other one?
Tell me, Chris. You tell me. How bad is this launch? Is this going in the Fs that way it skews everything?
Yeah, well, it's not. I like the idea of the thumbstick more than actually playing. You know, Mario. I played more.
Well, there's not even a thumbstick. It's a D-pad and a touchscreen.
D-pad.
Well, no. But it came with a wrist strap that you put over your thumb, and it had a stylus
I know what you're
on
talking
the
about.
thumb.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I remember that.
It was a weird peripheral.
Yeah, it came with the system, with the launch units that came with the demo for what's it called.
What a launch. Maybe I just never used it.
Yeah, it would like so you could put it around your wrist and then use it. Yeah, no, this was not good. I'll just say it's above the Game Boy Color.
In the F.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is screwed. You're skewing this. You're doing this on purpose.
I'm not doing it on purpose. With telling them really this good game. What do you want me to do about it?
I can't say that it's. There's like I said, there are 2 games on here that are even like somewhat okay, and that's Super Mario 64 DS, which I would make the argument for is the best way to play Super Mario 64, and Asphalt Urban GT. That's the other good game here.
Yeah,
that's not cool.
I could say that.
You don't like Asphalt?
That's
Urban
the only
GT?
2 games I had on this list.
No.
Why?
It was okay.
Do you not like Asphalt as a series? Do you have hate in your heart? Is that what's wrong?
What? Have you played the Asphalt GT on the DS?
It's been a while. It's absolutely been a while.
It's been about 20 years, but I like that game. Okay.
Chat is going to revolt on us if we do not talk about how good the Herbs Sims in the City is.
I'm not gonna lie, I never played that.
The Herb Simmons, you know, the DS version. If the Game Boy Advance version didn't exist, the DS version might have been my favorite.
I thought you were about to say if the Game Boy Advance version didn't exist, the DS version would be the best version to play because it would be the only version to play.
And the worst.
Oh man. But I don't know, Josh. Like, we can't let this lay an F, right? Like, is this F?
I'm not gonna let it lay an F. Like between the two of us, I would bring it up. It's gonna be in C. It's not gonna be higher than that.
No, I definitely don't think this is not better than the DMG. This is not better than the DMG release, the original Game
Put
Boy.
it at the bottom of C.
You're not far off, Chris, but I don't think that's F tier. Is it F?
Mario on there was really good. I will say I loved it then, and I love the additional content. I love starting with Yoshi. It's my favorite character. I did play it a few years ago for the first time in a long time on like my cousin's DS or something, and I don't remember it controlling that crappy.
That's how terrible it controlled at launch. Yeah, it was terrible. It was F. It
was rough.
Oh,
I
man.
played through the whole game. I don't remember having trouble when I first played it. Maybe I don't know.
Now you really want to
definitely.
talk about an F launch? We can talk about the 3DS now. You guys want to talk about the 3DS? Because here's what you got.
Oof.
Asphalt 3D, Lego Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars, Madden NFL Football, Pilot Wings Resort, Rayman 3D, The Sims 3, Steel Diver, Super Monkey Ball 3D, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell 3D, Nintendogs plus Cats, Ridge Racer 3D.
Good. I thought they would have learned from the DS launch.
I didn't miss anything, right? I think I got it.
Did you say Street Fighter?
I did not. Super Street Fighter 4 3D
Street
edition.
Fighter was on there.
And then PES. Oh wait, no, I think that got delayed.
Pro Evolution Soccer 2011.
Ridge Racer 3D.
Yeah, I did mention Ridge Racer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is like
great launch.
They
got Shadow Wars is really good.
It was cool to have Tom Clancy on the go.
We got freaking cats for crying out loud. We got Nintendogs.
I know you're a big Nintendog stan. I was wondering if that would factor into your ranking or not.
Yeah, of course it would. This is better than
S tier.
Kind of all over the place here now.
Yeah, no, I like it more than the DMG Game Boy.
Really? You like it more than Super Mario 64 DS?
Yeah, glasses-free 3D. You got...
I mean, that's impressive, but there's nothing to play with it. It's all garbage.
Yep. Oh, okay. You guys got
Rayman 3D's okay.
The DS up there.
Not the best way to play that game.
I only said the first two words.
Letters. That's true. It's fine. We're not a family-friendly stream necessarily, but
hey, you can drop one and it's still PG-13.
That's true.
So.
That's true. You get one.
That's true.
Dude, Chris is going to be dropping that one every week at the beginning of the show. Welcome to the Nintendo Rewind.
Yeah. What the flip mode?
Perhaps.
Oh man. So are we putting? Are you going to put this above the DMG? Is that where this is going?
That's where I put it, and then you guys can just lower it down to F if you want.
You just make it.
Now you're making me feel bad because I don't like this launch.
Well, I mean, all the other
Best
stuff
one here
that we
Rayman.
got here.
Josh, is it better than the DMG?
I don't know. It's.
We got.
I remember when I first got this. I didn't get Rayman. I just got Pilot Wings for some reason. And it's very okay. It's very Pilot Wings.
I didn't realize how bad this launch was.
Gosh.
How little they actually put out. That there's no like. The
Street
thing is,
Fighter
like,
was good.
yes, Nintendogs plus Cats is here, but that is the only Nintendo-led
They
title
didn't even
that's
have
on here.
Ocarina of Time.
No, they got
3D
Pilot Wings.
ready.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Pilot Wings, but there's a good reason.
was
I
the
know I
only
argued
Nintendo
for it on
thing.
SNES, but like,
Yeah, wait a minute. Just submitted a few minutes ago.
I'm a Nintendo first party fan. Like, this is a weak sauce. Like, watch. Like, Pilot Wings was the only like Nintendo game.
can I bump it below the DMG?
For me, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
At least for the time. I know I just said that Mario 64 DS, whatever it's called, the controls were but I do remember really liking it. So yeah, I'm putting it below that.
You want it below the DS?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm hearing Chris have a heart attack in the background.
Just put it in F. Just put me out of my misery. Just put it in the F.
No, there's
It shouldn't go in F.
I
Not an F
don't
for
think
him. It
I don't
shouldn't go
think
in
it's
F.
There's a lot of games
do
here.
not
That's the
like
thing.
F.
There's a lot of games here. What was it? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games. 13 games here. And 2 of them are really good.
Maybe we're being harsh. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look how high the N64 is with 2
That's true.
mediocre games.
The one really good game and 1 okay game.
And the NES
Mario 64 is better than every game listed on this 3DS one.
The NES
It's okay to be
still
okay.
shouldn't be that high up either.
Yeah, the NES is a little high. I could agree with that.
Okay, so if you guys wanted to reevaluate and put the NES lower, where are we putting it?
below
It's
the Game
17
Boy.
games.
You just put it below the Game Boy.
Okay.
Ooh, I wouldn't do that. It's because the Game Boy screen was so horrible.
But
Yeah.
we're
know.
looking
That's
at
tough.
support and launch title here, like not comparing the console to console. All right, Wii. This is huge. This is a huge list. Okay, so I'll leave the 3D. I'll leave the 3DS below the NES and above the regular DS for now.
Man, this list is looking mean. Anyway.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Wii,
We need a good one.
They
Avatar:
gotta
The
release
Last
some good
Airbender,
games.
Barnyard, the Nickelodeon classic, Call of Duty 3.
We're off to a great start.
Cars, the Disney classic, Excite Truck, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, GT Pro Series, Happy Feet, Madden NFL 07, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which is really good,
Okay.
Monster 4x4 World Circuit, Need for Speed Carbon, which is one of my favorite Need for Speeds, but not on that console, Open Season, Rampage Total Destruction, Rayman Raving Rabbids, Red Steel, which is good, SpongeBob SquarePants Creature from the Krusty Krab, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, The Ant Bully, Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam, get ready for it, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Trauma Center,
Zeldas.
which is also a good Atlas game, second opinion, Wii Sports, possibly the best party game to ever release in all of history, with the amount of stuff people spent money on for it. And that was it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 games as a launch title. As a launch title for the Nintendo Wii. This is
Who's
by
going
far
first?
our largest launch yet out of launch titles. At most we had prior was 17 with the NES. The NES came out in the 80s. This came out in 2007, 2008, 2006. Thank you. So the problem here is, and the problem that I see is that there's a lot of just poo-poo here. There's a lot of
A lot of-
poo-poo.
Less than mediocre movie tie-in games.
Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, great. Trauma Center, second
Love that
opinion,
game.
great. Wii Sports, great. Red Steel, I would argue, is great. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, also great. Need for Speed Carbon, great. The rest of these games on here are tie-ins or just like downright bad games that I really wouldn't want to talk about too much.
Not to be biased, the Raving Rabbids game is okay. Just a mini game collection. It is a pretty decent party game.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
That
But-
really is.
It's good. We'll say that's in the good category. But a lot of this other stuff is just like tie-in games. That
One of
are
the worst
not
monkey
good.
balls. It's not bad, but one of the lower ones.
Yep. So I will start us off, and I will put it in because of the amount of support that is there. Specifically because of Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess as well.
My favorite.
This is a big launch. I am going to put this in A. Below the SNES is where I'm at with it.
Wow.
It's 23 games, and yes, a lot of them are bad, but this is you're spoiled for choice.
Kind of. Who's next?
You want to go, Josh?
Yes.
Chris needs
I'll
to know
say
whether
the
or not he
obvious
needs to put
best
it in
game
F.
It's hard for me to really talk about Wii Sports here because I mean, like it's a fantastic game for
It's
what it is,
pervasive.
especially at the time. Like it was at the time, it was
It is
obviously
culturally
just something-
defining. Grandmas
was
played
iconic.
games because of Wii Sports.
My favorite here, obviously, is Twilight Princess. I love that Zelda game. It is one of my top Zelda games. There's 3 ways to play that game though, and this is the worst way to play it compared to the GameCube and the HD Wii U version of it. It wasn't at the time. I thought it was pretty awesome. However, we're just kind of counting this off of when it came out, so that ups it a lot for me. Really though, between that and Wii Sports, I was fairly interested in the Trauma Center. I never bought it, but I think the idea was pretty cool. I like some of the SpongeBob 3D games. I don't know if that one was any good. Again, Rayman Raving Rabbids is okay. I never played that Ultimate Alliance, but I know they're pretty good games. Just again, the rest here though is just kind of like whatever for the most part.
Let's just call it what it is. The rest of it is poo-poo.
Yeah, I know there's stuff, and I know there's choices, but I just don't feel like there's any realistic choices. Not any. There's a lot of them that's just kind of whatever. I know Rampage can be good. I don't remember if that one in particular was good. And again, it's Rampage. You know, it's not like one you'd pay $60 for usually. If my wife heard that, she's gonna be mad at me. She likes Rampage. I would still personally put it below the GameCube because I feel like the GameCube had better quality.
Ouch. Okay. All right, Chris, it's up to you. Where are you putting this? How far down this list is it going to go?
It's going, for me, it would be below the 3DS. It's just...
With 23 games?
23 pieces of shovelware. This thing...
Just 19.
Yeah, that's just 19. The Trauma Center is probably my favorite launch title, followed by Legend of Zelda maybe. But the problem with the Wii at launch, well, and then I guess what's it called? Bowling. Yeah, but the Trauma Center. But the problem with the Wii at launch was waggle. It's like even like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It was like you couldn't just use regular button controls. You had to waggle to attack. And I mean, everyone knows left-handed Link is the best. So when they go ahead and try and make them right-handed, it's just despicable. But yeah, there was a lot of junk at launch. I think, yeah. I remember I imported the Japanese Wii because I wanted to play WarioWare. Was not worth importing a whole system for, let me tell you. But I did get to play a couple of train simulators later on, thanks to them coming out in Japan. Anyway, yeah,
Japan.
It was not Japan. Anyway, yeah, it was not great.
Welcome to Japan.
I say that just for the next one.
All right, so okay, so where this landed after I put it in A, and then after Josh put it below the GameCube, and after you put it above the 3DS.
It's been everywhere.
Is that where you put it, Chris?
I put it below the 3DS, and then you put it there.
Okay, I was trying to bump it down on average. So I was trying to bump it down on average. So here's what we're saying suddenly is that the Game Boy is better than the Wii. The Game Boy is better than the Wii, and the 2 games that came out on the N64 is better than the Wii.
Well, I don't know why the N64 is so high.
We can't put everything in F. It's not all bad.
Everything's in C.
We got 2 games.
All right. Oh my God, Wii U. Here we go.
Scooch it up a little bit. Oh, anyway.
Assassin's Creed 3 on the Wii U. Batman Arkham City Armored Edition. Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Darksiders 2. Epic Mickey 2, The Power of 2, Sports Connection, which I think is ESPN, I'm not really sure, FIFA 13, Game Party Champions, Just Dance 4, Mass Effect 3 Special Edition.
Monkey Barn.
Because I don't think that came out in America.
Sorry, go ahead.
New Super Mario Bros. U, Nintendo Land, which is one of my favorite games on the Wii U, Scribblenauts
It's a good-
Unlimited, Skylanders Giants, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, Tekken Tag Tournament
Underrated.
2 Wii U Edition, Zombie U, Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, Rabbids Land, Sing Party, Transformers Prime the Game, Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper, Wipeout 3, and Your Shape Fitness Evolved.
13.
Yeah.
Thank you. 2013, yes. I should have been more specific. This is bad. There's not a lot to write
know if
home
I call it
about
bad.
here. There is not a lot to write home about on this console.
I
New
say,
Super Mario Bros. U is stale. By the time it comes out, it's stale. Nobody wants it. Everybody's tired of New Super Mario Bros.
Oof.
Nintendo
Yeah, that
Land
sucks.
was good. Scribblenauts Unlimited was good, but it's not like a blockbuster game. Zombie U is okay.
Well, hold on a minute. Now, wait a minute.
Do you like Zombie U?
Zombie U may be one of like the best shining examples. I mean, almost it's right up there with Nintendo Land
Of
in
what the
terms of
gamepad can do?
showing off what you could do with the gamepad, where you're
Yes.
trying to you got to look at the one screen and do the dang mini game while you're trying to unlock stuff, and yet look at the other screen to see if there's any zombies coming behind you. But yeah, this launch sucked. Probably.
Susie, and was this every game that came out on the Wii U in its lifetime? Oh, everyone point and laugh at the Wii U. Oh my god. No, the Wii U, it sucks, man. Like all that. There's just not enough there. I mean, there's 20 games. This is effectively worse than the Wii, though. I think we can all agree this is worse than the Wii, even though Nintendo came out hard for it. Like, they were like, here's a new Mario game, and here's Nintendo Land.
I'm probably
Yeah.
putting this higher than anybody else.
You know,
You two
it's-
go first.
I guess it's above the Game Boy Color, at least.
I'm gonna have to save this thing.
He's gonna throw it in his. It's gonna suddenly become a B tier game. No, man. No, I don't. Here's the thing. I like this better than the 3DS launch. What we just talked about. I like this better than the 3DS launch personally. I
Which
like
game
this.
did you like better?
Nintendo Land specifically because it was actually the only good game that came out on this console. But I'm being facetious. But here's where I'm at with it is that I think Nintendo did show out with support for it early on. And then they were the only people to support the console the rest of its lifetime. But they actually had more than Nintendogs on here. Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed is pretty good.
Hold on, man. I'm not gonna
I think
have
it's a really good game.
Nintendo
Okay.
slander.
Some time code, yeah. But I mean, for me, I would put this above the 3DS, but we're slowly working our way up here. It's above the DS based on my ranking. Where are you at?
All right, so I'm just going through this real quick. Batman Arkham City Armored Edition I thought was really cool on here. I like what they did with it.
It was better
again,
somewhere
that
else.
game's mostly available on other things,
Everywhere
but I really
else.
did like what they did with the gamepad. And again, I played
Except
this
on
when
the
the
Steam
gamepad
Deck.
was new. I don't know anything about Steam.
It's not good on the
But
Steam Deck because you
I really
can't
did-
play it.
Like what they did on there. Epic Mickey 2 I really liked. I know it wasn't as liked as the first one. It didn't run great on the Wii U. But for the most part I did really like that game. I love that world. I wish they would bring that back with the first one. But so that was pretty cool. But it did come out on other systems all at the same time. New Super Mario Brothers U, we already kind of talked about it. I did still like that game. That was like the first HD Mario game. If it wasn't for the ones before it and it already being done so much and it having mostly the same music even from the Wii game, like I would probably think a little more of it because I do like that game. It's just very, very kind of plain, kind of generic almost compared to everything else. Nintendo Land I think was a fantastic way to show off the gamepad. I thought that was a lot of fun. Definitely, probably the best thing listed here. But I also really like Sonic and All-Stars Transformed, or Racing Transformed. I think it's kind of an underrated kart racer.
So it's above the 3DS.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, a little bit of a tangent. I would definitely put it above the 3DS, no doubt. Okay, that's not even close.
Above the NES?
For me, yes, but I wouldn't put it too much higher. You're getting a little
Above the Wii?
Getting a little excited there. The Wii had Zelda.
All right, so if we average this out, Chris, where did you say you wanted it? Above the Game Boy Color in F?
What? Yeah. Well, yeah. That's a good spot.
Okay, so below the NES, above the 3DS is where it lands, and I think that's a fair place now. I think that's a fair place.
I'd put it above the NES.
I would agree with that take. I would put it above the NES as well. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Nintendo Switch. This is the final console. I know it's been a long show. Thank you guys so much for sticking it out with us. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. 1-2 Switch. Shovel Knight Spectre Torment. Yay! Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. Yay! Skylanders Imaginators.
Yay.
Okay. Super Bomberman R.
Pretty yay.
Just Dance 2017. Fast RMX. Anyway. I don't think I played that one. I don't think I've played Fast good. RMX. Yeah. Human Resource Machine. I Am Setsuna. Little Inferno. No yay. And Snipper Clips Cut It Out Together. I really like Snipper Clips. And
Snipper Clips, yeah.
World of Goo, which is funny. World of Goo 2 just released last week. So here's what I will say. Okay. There is some decent stuff here. There's some really, really good stuff here. Breath of the Wild may be one of the best Legend of Zeldas ever to come out. I think objectively people can say that. Maybe one of the best Legend of Zeldas to ever release, period. 1-2 Switch is awful, and it should have been a packing game. Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment, amazing. Treasure Trove, even better because you get Spectre of Torment and everything else with it. Skylanders Imaginators is the toys to life, but you didn't have to have the toys, I believe, right? You didn't have to have the toys to play that one?
You did have to have the toys, yes.
Okay.
You didn't. You could scan them on the Switch. You didn't have to.
Oh yeah, you didn't have to have the portal.
A portal, but it came with 2 figures still.
Super Bomberman R. It was okay. I think you might have had better time playing it on the Stadia. Just Dance 2017. I mean, it's Just Dance. Fast
Just
RMX.
Dance. I mean, it is what it is.
Like I said, I never played it. Human Resource Machine's good. I Am Setsuna is good. Little Inferno is good. Snipper Clips, I think, is on the higher side of good, possibly edging into great.
Really good co-op game.
And World of Goo is World of Goo. It came out on the Wii, but then is also now here on the Switch.
Yeah.
On day one.
Makes good use of the touchscreen.
Yeah. Good use of the touchscreen. I think this is a good launch. Just for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild alone. I think this is a good launch. It's not the greatest launch. This is no S-tier launch. I think we can all agree this is definitely not an S-tier launch. Even though that Zelda game is an S-tier game. And for that reason alone, I'm going to go B. I'm going to put this in B. Because I'm hedging my bets a little bit. I think this is going to get dragged up a little bit. But I think
not
this
by
is...
me.
Not by you? Oh, okay, so it may go down. Never mind. Okay, so this is an average. I'm still sticking with my B, even though I have more information now. Because I legitimately do feel like this is a B launch. And
you say it's below the GameCube?
Yeah, below GameCube. That may be a wrong take, actually, now that I think about that, because all we had that we loved on the GameCube was Luigi's Mansion 3.
Oh, no. We had Star Wars.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What else do we have? Star Wars.
For me.
Junk.
On there.
Yeah.
Granted, the other good stuff was like a couple weeks later.
You know, now that you bring that up, I think I am going to have to put that above GameCube, but definitely below SNES. Definitely below SNES. All right. Tell me what's going on. Better it wasn't a packing game because it wouldn't infect my collection.
No. Well, known Snipper Clips hater.
Really? Snipper Clips is good. Mel needs to get taste.
Yeah, Mel. Yeah, Mel needs good games, is what she needs. But yeah, what are we doing? This Switch? We're rating it.
Yep. Where are you putting this launch?
The I'm gonna say it's definitely better than the GameCube. But also, I mean, I don't.
This
Here's
is
the
not
prob-
an A tier launch, right?
Well, neither is the Super NES, but look where we
Yes,
are.
it is. Get out of here.
That's like a C tier. Let's go. We got 4 games.
5. And they were good.
5. Yeah, everyone's favorite Grady's.
You guys rated that one up for SimCity alone.
Yeah, but Breath of the Wild I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Better than any. Jeez Louise.
Breath of the Wild is in my top 3 Zeldas easily.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Have no fear. Josh is here. So I'll just give my rating and then Josh can give his. So I'll say I'm going to give it an S right below the Game Boy Advance.
Ooh,
Wow. Okay. So that averages to A above the SNES. I did not expect that. That is a turn of events.
Well, fuck the Super NES. That's why.
There it is. Oh, didn't beat that one.
We'll get it in post. It's fine. All right, Josh. So what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? How do you feel?
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'll give it the grade first. I completely think I agree with Cody on that where it was. Breath of the Wild again was kind of the biggest thing here. I mean, the Shovel Knight games are great. I personally really like Bomberman, especially the multiplayer in it. Like after time, at first it was a little whatever, but I guess we were going off the launch. I was gonna say this game really did. I feel like that game picked up like after they let it sit for a little while with free updates and stuff. I mean, Snipper Clips is a good co-op, but still a pretty decent bit of like smaller stuff outside of Zelda. So, yeah, I would definitely put it like right below the GameCube. I think is a pretty good spot for it. So, what is that?
That averages out because I put it above the GameCube. You said below the GameCube, and Chris said above the SNES. So that averages out to below the SNES and the A. We're being accused of recency bias here, and I don't know that Sue's wrong. But I will say I think Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild alone kind of brings this one way up the list significantly, and it carries that launch in a strong way. Looking at this list, is there anything we want to reevaluate before we move on? Are we happy with where everything landed? Because I kind of, looking at this, the more I look at this, I'm like, does the DMG deserve the place that it's got?
Hey, you watch your
What?
mouth.
Is the DMG better than the Wii and the Wii U launch?
DMG. What is DMG?
The original Game Boy.
Okay. No, I think that thing is too high, but that's just me.
I also think it's too high. But I definitely think it's better than NES. Would we be fine bumping it below the Wii U?
No.
The only thing carrying the Game Boy was like the original Tetris, and that's not even the best version of Tetris.
Mm-mm. And then N64 had 2 games, dudes. As good as Super Mario 64 was, Pilot Wing 64.
I know.
Is it? There's no way it has to be. It has to be below all of these.
I wouldn't put it. Not 3DS. I don't know about that. I don't know.
Better than 3DS
because of when it came out. When it came out was like.
But it's 2 games. It's only 2.
No.
This is the worst support that we had. Period. And it's only Nintendo.
Yeah, but GameCube is a B. And we
I
got
still agree with
Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, it was good.
Batman.
All right, so we're good with where N64 is then, huh?
Not that high. Put it below the Wii at least.
How do you feel?
Oh, I think the N64.
Uh-huh.
I would be fine putting it below the Game Boy or the DS. I mean, not the Game Boy.
Okay.
Definitely below the Game Boy. But
Okay.
That green screen with no light.
Forget about the green screen.
Yeah.
You can't compare
know,
those two consoles
that.
against each other. We're talking about launch support. How good were their launches?
Yeah, because the only game I was playing on the N64 was Super Mario 64. I didn't care about any other. I mean, I remember the first
That's
night
launched.
the N64 came out, and I got it. And the first night I played, and I was up to like 3 a.m. I had just gotten 10 stars, so I could go fight Bowser for the first time. And you know what? Good point. Mrs. Nerd says, what about Xbox? Xbox, the OG Xbox, had Shrek for a year launch exclusive. So, really, if they didn't have that, GameCube might have been a little higher.
No. All right. We're calling it here. I think this is the list.
It's 11:30 at night.
So, I think this is the list, though. And I think I'm fine with where this is at. When we get a little more separated from the Switch and get into Switch 2's launch, I think I might reevaluate where I think we have Switch.
Okay.
I think moving N64 down was the proper choice. I think there's a lot of support here for the NES, but I think we put it in a proper place with how little there was there. That is actually good, and that maintained being good. So,
I mean, the GameCube is just a couple weeks away from being easy A for me.
yeah, I think the B is a good place for it. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. That's the list.
Yes.
You guys have seen it. Our S tier launch was the Game Boy Advance. The two worst ones, the two F tiers, Game Boy Color and Virtual Boy. If you guys have a different list, this tier list is available. Please send it in. We'll show it on the show next week and let the people know how everybody else feels about it. That being said, Switch 2. I know we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about it because we're running low on time right now. We're already at like 2 hours on this show. Switch 2. Do you think Switch 2 is gonna have a good launch support? Because I will tell you, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh, there hasn't been a whole lot this year other than remakes.
Based on everything we just saw from all the other launches, like I don't think we are going to have anything worth writing home about.
Yeah, but you loves that stupid little plumber. So
I do love
they're
that
gonna
stupid little plumber.
they're gonna have Mario at launch, and you're gonna be like, okay, I forget what I said.
Yep, S tier. S tier. It's an S tier launch.
Prime 4.
Yeah.
Start with that and like a good Mario multiplayer game of some sort.
I mean, if we look at launch frame time frames, I'll eventually get my word out. You've got Mario and Luigi Brothership coming out when? Next year sometime?
November?
This year. This year, November? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that will not be a launch title. You got Pokemon Pizza or ZA, whatever. Pokemon ZA is no time on there. I would say you've got what else? That Metroid Prime 4 Beyond could be within the launch time frame, and I can't even think of what else is going to be something we really want to think about. Like, but those
Mario
two games
Kart
alone, dude. If they do Mario Kart, absolute 100% S tier launch for Switch 2. Like, not even gonna lie. But I think with this track record and what we've seen and the support that's there, I don't think we're going to have a crazy good launch. I don't have a whole lot of faith in it. So that I hope I'm wrong. But I don't think I will be. So that being said, that's the main topic for the night. Let's go to the extra Nintendo news. Josh. Well, I guess no bumper now, huh? Never mind. It's playing. All right, Josh, take it away.
Great. I'm going to kind of speed around this thing if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Here we go. Switch on track to beat PS2 lifetime sales. I'm gonna throw my opinion in on that one though. It definitely showed the PS2 is just a glorified DVD player. There's some good games, but it's a little overrated. Before anybody else can chime in, the next
hold
news
on,
story.
Rick. All right, go ahead.
Well, how is it going to get there? It's so right now, Switch life to date US unit sales are now only 1.1 million units away from the PlayStation 2. So 1.1 million. Even with ex-CEO Jim Ryan on his way out the door saying, well, it actually sold this point another 1 million units than what was tracked, 160 million units worldwide.
It was a cheap DVD player and it did its job.
Yeah, but I think it will make it. It will make it.
Anyway, the Doom anthology revealed for Switch, which is pretty cool, honestly. I don't know if I know Doom 1 and 2, and then the two newer Doom games are really good. So there's a little peek at that. I can't remember what all it comes with here. I had it pulled up.
It comes with 6 games.
But there's the picture of it there. Yeah. It's a pretty good little bundle there. These are always on sale though, so I'm curious. Does it have a price on it?
If you go to the products page on it, $79.99 for this version. Okay? Well, it's gonna ask me for everything for this version of it. It is Doom 2, Doom 64, Doom 2 again. No, Doom 3. My apologies. Doom and Doom Eternal, and it also has a replica of the BFG and a steelbook that it comes with. So, I mean, for $79, that's not bad. That's a really, really good deal.
It's actually not too bad, especially if you're a big fan or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sales aside, that's pretty cool. So, let's see. Now, this one, you all, I know this is one of those I honestly don't know anything about these guys, but it is Tango Gameworks acquired by PUBG dev Reignite Switch Dream. So, you all might want to take that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Tango Gameworks got shut down by Microsoft, but it's a Japanese company, so it's not like as easy to just shut it down. So what ended up happening was Crafton came in and bought Tango Gameworks, and with that deal, they also got the Hi-Fi Rush IP, and so they said they're planning on making more use of the Hi-Fi Rush, including a sequel, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of gacha mobile game or something. But then also it was originally rated for the Nintendo Switch, and then there was a rumor it got canceled for the Nintendo Switch. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was a Switch 2 launch title.
It'd be really cool. It would be really, really cool. I think that might make that an S rank tier.
That Mario.
That Mario. We're going to make it an S rank. Oh, man. And then the final piece of news there, Judge.
Okay, so I might pronounce this a little bit wrong here, but saw this pop up earlier today. Bikiru announced, and there's a demo available. I'm actually going to be in the middle of downloading it here after not playing it tonight, but it looks fairly interesting. It looks like a different sort of 2D side scroller. We're just going to go ahead and sort of play some of the video there. And it is made by Goodfeel. So if you know Goodfeel, they've made some pretty decent stuff, including like Kirby's Epic Yarn, the Yoshi Woolly World and Crafted World.
And this is like
things here, so.
The spiritual successor to Goemon, and it's the director of Goemon and Goemon on the N64 is the director of this game as well. So
I watched Chris play a bit of this back when it was released in Japan. I think it was released already in Japan, right? Or did you have early access to something?
No, it came out around Christmas time.
But it looks so cool. Like the gameplay is really, really neat. Like it's got such a good style. The music in it was pretty darn good. It was a little bit repetitive, I will say. But like overall, like the gameplay loop looks like so much fun. And now it's coming out in America land, and you can actually read the text that's on the screen and know what you're doing. So
yeah. What do you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. But that game looks cool. 30. What was that price point? 34.
$39.99, but then it's like on sale for $35.
$39.
$36.
September 3rd.
Yep, absolutely. And that does bring us, even though this was a new games, that does bring us to our new games section as well. So, Chris.
Okay.
Well, I'll eventually get there. Here we go.
Okay, so wait, which one is this? The Gyoda?
Yeah, Gyoda.
Yeah. This one here comes out, and that will be coming out on. There's a demo available. It's August 13th. Today, of course. That's $14.99. That one I don't really know anything about it, but it looks like it could be interesting. Then of course we got the Dredge the Iron Rig DLC. $11.99 comes out August 15th. I believe there was a way you could purchase like this DLC and the last DLC together. But yeah, that's coming out now on August 15th. August 16th we got Castaway, $7.99. That is August 16th. Just looks like standard cookie cutter let's make Game Boy Color type game.
RPG Maker.
RPG Maker.
Got that together.
Game Boy Color Maker. But yeah. So it looks alright. And could be good, but could also just be a hunk of junk. What is it? Dadish?
Dadish. Like a radish, but with a D.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Because you play as a radish.
Dadish collection. Yeah, it's like a radish that's a dad. And yeah, that's $14.99 for the collection. Comes out August 16th as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can get all three games, all the Dadish games. Dadish 1, Dadish 2, and Dadish 3 Electric Boogaloo, or whatever it is. I don't even know what. There's no subtitles on those, but.
Don't let us stop you.
Go get them. Go get them. $14.99, 8/16/2024. You can get it. And that does bring us to the final section of the show. Histowii. We're here. We made it, guys. Oh, and the bumper didn't play. That's totally fine. Let's go ahead and get into the final segment of this. Welcome to the part of the show we call Histowii. In this segment, my co-hosts Josh and Chris must try to guess a game that was released within the past week, but years ago, based on a trivia, a screenshot, and a random sound effect or song. As my resident nostalgia nerds, do you guys feel like you have what it takes to guess this game? Don't be so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
maybe. We might be able to do it. Who knows? You never know.
you never know.
All right. Well, listen, audience, I'll ask if you're watching this live, feel free to put your guesses in the live chat. And if you're watching it later on YouTube, please make sure that you put in a guess in the comments below. We are going to get into this with the very first clue on the board. And it is this. Luigi's Mansion wasn't the only Haunting Abode-themed video game on the GameCube. August 13th, 2002 saw the release of a magical point-and-click video game.
I'm not... I think I might know, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I have an idea.
All right. So we're going to throw up the screenshot now. I'm going to send it to you guys right now in the private chat, and I'm going to reveal it for those at home.
Okay. I think I'm on the right track. I just don't remember the name. I don't know about you, Chris.
Yeah. I think I know. But...
I'm surprised I haven't played this game, to be honest.
I think it's like Disney's Magical Mirror starring
it's like
Mickey Mouse or something. It's like Mickey Mouse, but it's not in the tut. Okay, let's just listen.
I remember that. It's Mickey and there is a mirror.
But I think it...
Let me pull up your all's trivia clue or your sound clue.
Yeah, it's probably Inazuma 11 again.
Music just kind of sounds like it's kind of normal. It doesn't really sound like, Disney or whatever. But it's there.
All right. We've speedrun the Histowii.
I really feel like we know what this is. but like he said as well, the title escapes me, and I'm really surprised I haven't played this.
I think it was like Disney's Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse, I believe was the name of the game.
You might be right. I was just gonna say like Mickey's Magical Mirror, Mickey something. You might be right on all that extra stuff.
Yeah, or it could be Murder House, Murder Mouse, Murder House. One of the two. This is Murder
It's
House.
the Mickey Mouse Murder House. Come inside. You'll die inside.
Yeah.
That was great.
All right. You guys want to lock that in as your guess?
Yes. Oh, we'll lock.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to lock that in as your guess. Going over to the Grand Wheel right now. Guess what? You guys are going to be getting yourselves a 18th point on the board. It absolutely was Disney's Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse. That is the full title of that game. And it's an interesting game. I never played it either. I thought Josh would be on this immediately. Like, I thought he would know what it was immediately.
I knew what it was with the first hint, but the title, yeah.
It's just so strange. Like, it's strange that it's a point and click on the GameCube. Like, and this trailer tells you nothing about the game either. Like, the trailer is just like this family and watching Steamboat Mickey, and which is now public domain now, by the way, guys. So if you want to go get Steamboat Willie and enjoy it.
Only Steamboat Willie though.
Yep.
Don't
not
come
anybody
out
else.
here with this Mickey Mouse. Yeah.
But that's Disney's Magical Mirror. You guys got 18 points. Congratulations, you people.
It was made by Capcom too.
It was made by Capcom. I didn't want to throw that in there because I feel like that would give too much away. I didn't know if it would give too much away, but you know, that about wraps up this episode of Nintendo Rewind. Josh, where can they find you, sir?
Right here at my house. My address is
don't tempt Chris. If Chris knows, he will put it in the chat.
No,
Let me enter it in there.
in most places, I am Whopper744 on X, Twitter, that the thing that they can't decide on a name on. It is at Whopper744 Games, and that is where I'm still probably the most active. Yeah,
Absolutely. What about you, Chris?
Don't forget to give out your Speedstorm code.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that is, but sure.
Your Disney Speedstorm.
Oh my gosh. No, it is almost midnight. I got 2 jobs. I don't remember what. I played that game a lot, and I just completely blanked out. That was dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You can find
play me in that game, by the way. Reach out to me.
Super Nintendo on everything. But yeah. I'll send you an invite tonight, and then we can play after the show.
There we go. Enjoy. There you go.
You're not going to sleep or anything.
Don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep, Josh. You don't get to sleep. You find me Never Our Plays pretty much all the places too. I usually stream on my channel nightly, but this week I'm only streaming on my personal channel 3 times over at twitch.tv/NerdWirePlays. You can catch a lot of our past episodes in video form over at youtube.com/@TheNintendoRewind. Visit our site for links to all of our social media pages at NintendoRewind.com, and consider supporting the show through memberships on our site, where you will get bonus content that is only available there. Thanks again so much for watching, and you can catch us live weekly Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Twitch. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye!
Good night. Bye-bye.